Hi, and welcome back to a very wet and soggy Wales. I hope you're keeping well. Back out again, setting my camera trap up in the rain, in the hope of getting a nice image of the fox amongst all these beautiful autumn colours. I always feel a little bit of pressure this time of year to get one or two images under my belt before the brief colours of autumn fade away for another year. I switched over from my usual 18 to 70mm lens over to the 55 to 200 and set it to about 120mm, just so I could keep the camera gear back away from the area where the foxes were passing to avoid disturbing them if I could. I decided to go with the 2-light setup and fixed the fill flash just to the right hand side of the camera on a branch with a Ultrapod 2 little mini tripod. I set the main flash up just to the left near the holly tree on an extending pole, and then it was just a matter of checking both the flashes were firing okay and checking the exposure on the back of the camera, and it was all good to go. Okay, that's it. I'm all camouflaged up. That's where we're looking, just up there at that gap in the bracken. Bit of a long way off, but you've got to keep the camera well away from the area when you're trying to catch foxes. We've got this light up here, one flash there to the right, just above 1/16 power. I got a flash to the left. I don't know if you can see it. It's getting a bit dark and pouring with rain. The flash there, pointing, this is where I want the photo to get taken. And there's my PIR sensor. So hopefully that's it. That'll do for now. I'll leave it the weekend and see if we get anything passing through. Let's hope this weather doesn't get any worse. It's pretty grim. Okay, see you later. Right, well, I've had this set up here for about a week now, and all I've had is the back end of a fox and the back end of a badger, so I haven't had nothing, unless there's anything happened. I was here yesterday checking on it and there was nothing on the camera trap yesterday. I might have picked something up last night, but I think I'm going to move it. I know it's only been a week, but we've got some fantastic autumn colours around, as you can see behind me at the moment, and I just feel that I'm not quite taking advantage of it as best I can. So I'm going to move my camera just a little way over. I've been putting a few nuts down under the stones over there, a few peanuts, and the badgers are coming pretty regular now. And with all the nice yellow leaves, I thought, you know, they're not going to be around for very long, so I thought I'd take the opportunity while they're here to see if I can get the camera set up over there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move it from here, and we'll have a go back onto the badgers. I can always come back to this at a later date, maybe in a week or two. We'll see how things go. So let's get everything packed down and get it moved. Right, the first thing I need to do is to switch lenses. I don't need this big 55 to 200 for this setup. I'm only it's only a few feet away, so pop that lens off. I'll put the 18 to 70 back on. I set my main flash off to the right of the camera at about a 45-degree angle away from the camera. I always like to keep at least 45 degrees off to the side. It helps to add a lot more drama to your images. If you have the flash too close to the camera, it can make your images look a little bit flat. As I often do, just again to add a little bit of drama to the images, is to put a backlight in. I usually have this set, if I can, I'll set it about 2 stops, a minimum of 2 stops lower than my main light. Again, just to add a little bit more definition to the image, and just to add a bit of separation between the animal and the dark background. With the dark nights drawing in at this time of year, I ended up putting the finishing touches to this setup in the dark. It can have its advantages. You can get a good idea of your flash settings, you can see it better on the camera, but it can make focusing a little bit tricky. But anyway, once I was finished, I left it to hopefully work its magic. Right, welcome back to a very stormy Wales. We're in the middle of our 4th named storm of the year. What's it called? Storm Debbie. And it's pretty rough. Just back after the weekend, just to check on the camera trap. Nice to see it's still here. It's always a nice thing to see. Another really nice thing to see is my little feathered friend, the great tit. She's always knocking about the place here, and always comes down for a peanut every time I'm around checking up on my camera trap equipment. She's been feeding out my hand for over a year now, and it always puts a smile on my face every time she comes down to feed out my hand. Let's have a look if we've had anything happening over the weekend. Be with you in a minute. Right, back after a couple of nights. I think the badgers have been. I expect the squirrels have as well, but there you go. Let's have a look. Two with me on it. Yep, there's a squirrel. Every time. Ooh, it's an unusual looking, maybe pale looking badger. Oh, it's the back end, that's why. Ah. Oh, there we are, look at that, looks a nice one. In focus. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Nice one. Any more? Oh, one just peeping over the bank. And that's it. I left this set up for a few more nights, but didn't manage any other images apart from a very soggy feral cat that came one rainy night and shook the water off itself in front of the camera. So I decided for the third time in as many weeks that I'd try another composition. It's focusing on the same spot as the previous setup, but around the other side of the trees. I like the look of the way the trees and the roots were all forming a nice composition on this side, so I thought I'd have a go at setting it up on this side for a few days. I removed what was the background fill light from the last setup and placed it over to the left to cast a little bit of light on what would now be the foreground of my new setup. I still had the main light in behind the trees, the other side of the trees, hoping that it would shine a little light on the faces of the badgers as they come up the bank and over the top. Just a little tip for getting your focus right. This is not an advert for Camtraptions, I promise you. But the sleeve which the PIR sensor comes in, this black sleeve, like a wrap, it's got the Camtraptions logo in white on it. It's really nice and contrasty, and I always put it in my focus area to focus my camera on. It just makes it a lot easier to get my focus exactly on point where I want it. Right, well that's it, all set up. Trying to get a bit more of an environmental shot. I'd like to get the badger just coming up on the bank here. I've got a light through that gap on the main flash, so it looks like a shaft of moonlight coming through. And I've got another, just a little bit of a fill-in flash just on the branch up there. I've got my PIR sensor pointing down onto the bank. Hopefully we'll give that a go, see if we can try something a little bit wider rather than a close-up portrait. I thought go for something a little bit wider to include some of the environment as well. I thought it might make a nice change. Right, well, as you've just seen, I've got a couple of images over the last few days from this setup here. Not quite what I had in mind, but I'm going to leave it here a few days and see if I can get that shot I had in my mind's eye before I set it up. But before I wrap the video up and show you my best images from the last few weeks, I'd like to give a shout out to Simon Hurdley. He's got a channel on YouTube. Anyone who watches any wildlife photography on YouTube, I've no doubt you've already come across his channel. He's got some fantastic content on there, and he's just starting to dip his toe into the world of camera trapping. And mind you, say dipping his toe, judging by the equipment and the enthusiasm he's got going on, he's going into it headlong, and don't think it'll be long before he's putting some fantastic content out on camera trapping and getting some really good images. So I'll leave a link to Simon's channel in the description below. Go and take a look. You won't be disappointed. I'm going to leave this here a few. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. My little friend's here. Hang on, I'll just get her a peanut. Just bear with me. She's often comes to see me when I'm messing about with my camera trap. Anyway, I've lost my train of thought now. Where was I? Right, well, take a look at Simon's channel. I'm going to leave this here for a few days now to see if I can get that shot that I'd set my mind on. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Okay, ta-ra.